Yeah, go ahead. Let's go. Woo!
There we go. I think we may have fixed it.
Oh, the thing came up. I got it.
Something different. All right, so are we live on Facebook?
Yeah, live on Facebook.
Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, live on Facebook. My name is Kyle Jackson. I'm a realtor with Savannah Premier Real Estate, and it is my honor and privilege to be here with you this afternoon on my new show to host here on Flowhio Radio.
Yeah.
Homeownership and Hip Hop. And so I am excited because I've been to Flowhio Radio a number of times in the past as a guest and as a DJ, but never as a host. And so this is my first time hosting a show. It is also my first time being a member of the Flowhio Radio family. So, Serge, can we get just a round of applause for the Flowhio family?
You sure can. Ow!
All right. So this is our inaugural. I did pronounce that correctly.
Yeah.
This is our inaugural show, the very first one. We will be on air every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. I'll be airing the Homeownership and Hip Hop show, and we will have guests that I'm going to tell you a little bit about in just a moment. But I just want you to kind of introduce the show and give its premise and tell you what in the world are we doing? Why are we here? Right? So we're broadcasting live to you from beautiful Tampa, Florida. And for a long time, I've been a hip-hop DJ. I actually started DJing back in 1989. And many people know me as DJ IM or the Blend King DJ IM. I made a transition a number of years ago and got into real estate. I used to be a mortgage broker at one point. I owned a company called the Equity Resource Group. We were the first mortgage broker business that was African-American owned in downtown Tampa. And back then, we did a lot. We had a lot of networking. I met a lot of wonderful people, helped a lot of people. But then the market crashed in the early 2000s. And I made a transition and, believe it or not, became an 8th grade American history teacher. And so left that career of mortgages, got into educating our students here in Hillsborough County. And shortly thereafter that, believe it or not, it was those very students who convinced me, along with a gentleman some of you may know by the name of Orlando Davis, who was at that time, I think it was not Wild. What was the original name of the station? I forget.
I think it's always been Wild, right?
No, wasn't it?
I ain't been here that long.
It was a while back.
I
Anyhow,
don't remember.
I forget. But long story short, I was DJing at Young Middle Magnet School right on Martin Luther King and 22nd, which is where I used to teach. And I was DJing one of the kids' parties or a basketball game or something like that. Orlando came, and I always mention this story because this speaks to always speak positively to people because you never know when you're planting a seed in someone. Mm-hmm. He came to me and he said, "Yo, you're dope. You should be on the radio." And real talk, at that very moment, I felt so inspired because he had already had a name for himself. Mm-hmm. I was like kind of in awe at the moment. And I started actually DJing professionally right at that point, right? And started doing shows. I wind up on a show with a gentleman locally by the name of Slick Worthington. On a podcast at USF Bulls Radio called Pirate Radio Invasion. Fast forward, we build up a little bit of notoriety there. I'm DJing, it's going great. And who do we meet? Orlando Davis comes and does an interview right on that show. And I told him this very story, right? And I told him, thank you for inspiring me because look how far it's gotten.
Right.
So it's been a wonderful run. I've performed with lots of great people. Friends like DJ Sandman helped me along the way to perform at places like Janice Live with this gentleman, Serge the General.
Oh, yeah.
We did? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I opened for Wu-Tang twice.
That's fantastic. Sandman, salute to Sandman. He has been a big help to the hip-hop community here in the Tampa Bay area. Yep, congratulations to him on just recently winning. Records. Right, Hillsborough Records, and winning on the Best of the Bay recently.
And his Artist of Sorrow was fire.
Fire. So, congratulations. He, again, planting good seeds, helping good people, right?
Yep, definitely.
And so I'm very happy that happened. Now, fast forward past that, and I'll end this story here. So I'm DJing, I'm doing my thing, but I will be honest with you. As much as DJing is my passion, and I love hip hop, I love the culture, okay? It didn't pay me very well. And I had to make a decision for my life and my family that centered around building wealth, generational wealth. And so I got back into the real estate, but instead of going back on the mortgage side, I became a realtor. And so I am honored to be a realtor with Savin Premier Real Estate, which is a small brokerage here in the Tampa Bay area that's owned and operated by my broker, Gloria Walters. Shout out to Gloria. We are building. And I have already had the good fortune of helping a lot of people to sell their homes and build wealth for their families, or to buy homes or buy their first homes. And with that said, I am going to now tell you the purpose of why I came to talk about this on this station. We are going to be here to uplift, inspire, encourage, educate, entertain, empower, and most importantly, we want to help you make money with real estate. We want to help you to own your own real estate, invest in real estate, purchase your first home, and believe it or not, you will be able to call in now. You can DM us now, live on Facebook. You can Instagram us now, live on IG. You can call in now to not only get yourself into the pre-approval, start figuring out how do you get approved for a mortgage, what are the steps that you need to go through to buy your first home, right? And we're going to talk hip-hop. In addition to talking real estate, we're going to talk to my brother Larcen, who is going to not only tell us about his illustrious career.
Facebook, what's going on?
Yes, sir. Not only talk about his illustrious career and the I'm talking about many artists, big names that he has performed alongside with and opened for. But we're going to talk about his expertise in terms. This man is extremely knowledgeable when it comes to finances and money. And so this show is about building wealth. That's what the premise of this show is. We're here to help everyone in our listening audience, no matter where you are. People want to live in Florida. People want to invest in Florida. People want to buy here. And you can do that on this show today. Okay? So, Serge, have we reached 15 minutes?
1.5 minutes away.
1.5 minutes away.
I mean, I could throw it on now. You want me to throw it on now?
Throw it on now, because we're going to introduce our first guest right after you throw that first commercial on.
Let's go.
Memories are created that will last a lifetime. Milestones and achievements that you'll cherish forever. And as families grow or you move up in life, it's time for your home to grow with you. A new home to create even more memories.
Every home has memories. Every home is a chapter in someone's life. My name is Kyle Jackson. I am a realtor with Savin Premier Real Estate. I would love to help you go from the current chapter to the next chapter of your life. Call me anytime.
When it comes to selling your current home and buying your next, Kyle Jackson's got your back.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you saw, that is one of my many commercials created by JCD Creative and my good friend Kyle over there. They helped me to create some commercials with my friends Christopher Calloway and Concept from, everybody knows Concept from 88.1
88.5 Saturday night shutdown.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was on the check in.
That's
That's
shutdown.
Saturday Night
Come on.
Shutdown. That's right. That's my main man. He's also appears in that video along with my friend Christopher Calloway and several others. My colleague Cho Kennedy, and our next guest, Mrs. Farlene Flack with Bliss Mortgage. Hey, Farlene, how you doing?
Good, how are
doing?
you?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, give her a round of applause, sir.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
And thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to be here with you. I want to address first the elephant in the room. Thank you so much for wearing your mask.
I know, sorry.
I love it. No, don't be. I love the vaxxed and the unvaxxed. I don't really care. We're going to show love for everybody. And we appreciate you doing the right thing, not only by wearing that, but also by showcasing your mortgage company. Bliss Mortgage. Take a look at her face. Beautiful face. Okay. So, Farlene, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and why you are here today?
All right. I'm Farlene, and I've been in the Tampa area my whole life. I grew up in Brandon. I went to high school at Durant High School in the East County.
Go Durant.
I know, Durant Cougars. I went to USF twice. And I kind
Nice.
of just stuck
Go
around.
Bulls.
I know, go Bulls. Like you, I had a different career path at the time, and so I started out like you as well as a high school teacher.
Oh,
So
okay.
I taught algebra and geometry to 9th and 10th graders.
First of all, she's very, very smart because you can't teach algebra and geometry unless you are brilliant. That's hard. Just let's be clear on that. So she knows math. Okay? Yes, wonderful.
Right. I'm a little bit of a super nerd, so I do love my A squared plus B squared equals C
Shout out to
squared.
all the nerds.
So, but like a lot of people, with the pandemic starting, I was looking for something that gave me a little bit more work-life balance, so I could be home with my kids.
Wonderful.
And kind of just fell into mortgages, and I absolutely love it. Been doing it for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I work at Bliss Mortgage, which is an independent broker. We have an office in New Tampa, but we're all over. We all work remotely, and we just the Tampa Bay area. So
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Now, you say, what made you choose Bliss Mortgage?
oh, they're friends.
Okay.
So I grew up. Jerry Bliss is the owner, and I absolutely love working with him. But really, I've been best friends with his wife for 20 years. We worked at Moffitt Cancer Center together. So
Oh,
and
nice.
she's the real boss, anyways.
That's always, right?
Right.
Shout out to the boss at my house, Lisa Jackson. I love you. And so my wife, I understand. It's important to have you. Well, you know what? I heard somebody told me a news. I used to say "happy wife, happy life."
I agree with that.
Now it's happy spouse, happy house. Everybody gonna be happy at this
I
house.
like that one. I like that one.
And speaking of a happy house, I asked you to come in today because I know that you have helped many people attain their first home. First-time home ownership is a goal for many people, particularly here in the Tampa Bay area. I know a lot of people have the hope and desire to be a homeowner someday.
I'm one of them.
One of them is with us. But we have not yet, many of folks have not yet achieved that goal. What would you recommend as a first step? Because we do have several people who have aspirations. They want to buy a home. What should they do?
Call me. And I only say
First
that-
and foremost.
Call me, because a lot of people just don't even know where to start.
Yes.
And it can be overwhelming and intimidating. And so I'm here. That's why I take the teaching part, the education part of what I used to do, and I apply it to mortgages. I want them to understand what the steps are and how to get to the final end, which is their home. So call me and we'll look at your overall picture, we'll look at your scenario, and we'll see what the next steps are to get to that goal.
Absolutely. Now, do you feel like there are some things that they should know before they call you?
I mean, yes.
Where would they get that information? Because I think a lot of what happens with people's failure to, you don't know what you've never been exposed to.
Right.
Right? So if you've always been in an apartment, your parents, your grandparents always been in an apartment, you may not even think in terms of home ownership, so you wouldn't know nothing. Where to start, where to begin to look, nothing. Right? And so for those folks, should they be going to a first-time home buyer seminar? Should they be going to YouTube? What do you recommend?
Oh, I think different learner styles can do different things, but there's YouTube. There are first-time home buyer seminars. We put them on sometimes at Bliss Mortgage, so we'll put them out there, and you can come and listen and then ask questions afterwards. I have videos on YouTube that are just little quick 1-minute Bliss Mortgage minutes where I just talk about what are some things that you should think about before buying a house, or how do you raise your credit. And so little snippets so that it's not a lot all at one time to help you get in the right direction.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I have seen some of your videos on YouTube. They're excellent. You are very informative. So how would they find a YouTube video of yours? Like, would they just type in your name, or do they have to know the link, the title? Can they just type in Bliss Mortgage? What's the fastest way for someone who's watching right now to say, let me see this lady?
Well, I just named my YouTube channel. I'm still working on it, but it is Fund with Farlene. I'm doing the F thing.
Got you.
But you could do Farlene Flack with Bliss Mortgage as well, and put YouTube after it, and you should be able to find it. If not, I will put it on Facebook, and you have the link there for you.
Perfect. One of the things that I see more than ever on social media is people, there are a lot of I'll fix your credit people out there.
There are.
Do you think that we should be referring people to them? Is that legit, or is that a scam? Where are we at on that?
I feel like it's I think there are people who really do want to help people that are doing credit, and they're out there to help, and then I do feel like there's some people who are scamming. So I like to just maybe have them come see me first. We do a soft credit pull so it doesn't hurt your credit, and just see where it's at. Okay. If it's something small that we can work together on, as a mortgage person, I'll help. But if it's something that, I'm not a credit specialist, so if I think that it needs a little bit more work, I have some credit specialists that will help. But they also help without getting funded till after you clear your credit stuff. So
Absolutely.
They don't take your money up front, which a lot of people, they've called me and they're like, oh, I talked to this credit person, they took my money and then they disappeared. So you kind of just got to watch who you're going to, and we have some people that we recommend.
That's excellent, because I have 2 credit specialists that I also recommend to my customers. Mm-hmm. And I think before you jump out the window and go to one, I think it is very important to make sure that they have a reputation. They've been referred. Do a little due diligence with everything, because believe it or not, once we get to where we're all talking together and I talk about the hip hop segment, just like there are, one of the famous quotes in the hip hop community is industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady. People know this, right? But it's not just records. It's not just the hip hop industry. There are lots of shady, unscrupulous people floating around in the real estate industry. And so you want to do your due diligence, right? For example, we know you are a licensed mortgage loan officer with a whole NMLS number.
2053548.
Amen. Knows it. That's excellent, right? And this is important because you want to deal with people who not only are licensed, but obviously they adhere to the rules.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
They adhere to the rules. They have integrity. They will treat you well, because there are horror stories. Now, we're not here to talk about horror stories because we could go on all day about that. But we do want to encourage people that they can apply. And we want you to apply today. We don't want you to wait. This isn't a hope, a pipe dream, maybe next year, maybe next month. Can they reach you today?
They can reach me today, yes.
Saturday, though. Do loan officers even work on Saturday? Is that a thing?
The Bliss Mortgage team does work Saturday and Sundays. We don't have any official set time, so we work when we work.
Okay, fantastic. And so if somebody wanted to get pre-approved today, they know they want to buy a house, where can they reach you?
They can reach me on my Facebook page, which is Farlene Flack. Just type those, you'll find me. They can go to our website, www.blissmortgage.com, and we have lots of information, and we have some calculators on there. If you're just curious and you want to play and see how much your payment would be or how much you can afford, we have some calculators that they can play with on there, too.
I'm going to throw in one little plug, a small little plug for myself.
Do it!
If you do go on there today, make sure you heard it on Homeownership and Hip Hop right here on Flow Ohio Radio. Can we get a round of applause for the new show? Let's go!
Yay.
Okay. So, Farlene, now, clearly we want to make sure that we talk about helping people with their first-time home ownership. But there are people who own homes. There are people, lots of people who will listen to this show. They're in the community, but they already have a home. Whether they own it, they purchased it outright, or they were inherited a home or something like that. Can they come to you about refinancing?
Oh, I love refinancing. Yes.
And what is refinancing? What is that? What are we even talking about when we say that?
Refinancing, well, you have your current mortgage, but maybe you had a higher rate at the time or a longer term, and now you want to change your term or take advantage of these extremely low rates that are going on right now. And maybe you're in the 4%, but rates right now for most people are in the 2%.
I'm going to dumb that all the way down.
Do it.
Okay? Because, what's interesting is we get to talking.
We got our lingo.
Yeah. Our realtor mortgage jargon. What rates? What is that? What are we talking about? Right? When she says you may have a rate, she's talking about the interest rate that you pay for borrowing money, right? So you borrowed money, you borrowed $100,000. You're not going to pay back just $100,000.
Right.
You have to pay. They want their money back plus some interest.
Right.
Okay, and so what interest rate she's referring to? She said some people are in the 4s, but you can get down as low as in the 2s. And what is the benefit of that? How does that help?
Paying less interest over the life of the loan.
Equals you not putting out more money than you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You keeping more of the money in your pocket versus paying it out to the mortgage company. Correct? Okay. In addition to that, when they refinance, are they losing anything?
No, they may have some closing costs, but we make sure that it makes sense. So if there's closing costs involved, we make sure that it's less than what they're making up in the difference for their interest savings. So, we want we don't want to just refinance everybody. It has to make financial sense for you. A lot of people have also been refinancing right now because they do a cash out.
I'm so glad you said that,
Right?
because my next question was going to be, have you ever heard of the BRRRR method?
The BRRRR method, no.
Okay. BRRRR, B-R-R, buy, refinance, right? Rent, and some other words are in there, essentially.
Right,
But
BRRRR,
right? B-R-R-R. And if you would like, I can look it up so I can be more specific as to exactly what BRRRR stands for, right? In fact, I will do that momentarily here just so I can be crystal clear for our listeners. I'm going to pull that up on the phone. And can I play this? Can I play a BRRRR clip? Okay.
How I'm getting this house 100% for free. It's called the BRRRR method. You buy a house using other people's money. You then renovate that house using other people's money. You rent it out to a tenant and then refinance it with a bank and repeat the process time and time again.
BRRRR.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it too.
So
Sounds good to me.
So you buy an ugly house. Now this is we're kind of transitioning because we talked about first-time home buyers, we talked about people who own a house but want to refinance, but now we're talking about investors, people who want to buy these ugly houses. You see the signs on the road all the time, right? We buy ugly houses, okay? And there's some ugly ones here in Tampa, by the way. We got some work to do here, y'all. And they will go in there and they will take this house that is ugly and rehab it, fix it back up, fix the roof, fix the fence, put some grass in the yard, right? Paint. Then we're going to put a tenant in there. We're going to rent it. Once we have some cash flow coming in because we have rental, right? We're going to charge the rent higher than what our mortgage payment is so we can make some money. And then we're going to go and we're going to approach you and say, hey, I'd like to refinance and pull some of this equity that I've now built up into this house. I want to pull it out. For what purpose? I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it into the next house and get another one and do the process again. I'm going to repeat, right? I'm going to flip. That's a very hip-hop mentality, right?
Familiar.
It's very familiar. I'm going to take my profit, I'm going to reinvest, I'm going to flip that money and get more money. And go again.
No matter what business I enter into, that is my mentality.
And that... when I come to you, I'm going to talk to you about how you got to that mentality because it's not everyone's mentality.
No, it's not.
You know? So we have a BRRRR method. People can invest with you as well. By refinancing, they can come to you for a refinance and you can help them to get into a new home.
Right.
So you are extremely valuable in this process.
I am.
Congratulations. I love that. Okay. So we must be 15 minutes in by this point.
1 minute. I was just about to
1 minute. And so we're going to run 1 minute early. And I want to thank you in that 1 minute for not only introducing yourself to our audience, being on our inaugural show, and of course, I want to remind people you can call Farlene today. It's Saturday.
Call me.
Call her today.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that I want to eliminate from the culture is procrastination. Failure to act. We love to talk about what we gonna do. One day I'm gonna. I'm fitting her. One day I hope to. Right? We got all the phrases for it. How about call Farlene now? She's available. You can call her today. Right? If she doesn't answer the phone because she's on the radio show, leave a message. She will call you back. I promise you.
Right.
Okay? So, we're going to run a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with the legend, Larcen.
Kyle Jackson from Savin Premier Real Estate makes selling your home look easy. Even when things behind the scenes don't go quite according to plan. Kyle will go to great lengths to make sure potential buyers see the best of your home. It's all about the details, making sure he's got your back. Kyle Jackson from Savin Premier Real Estate, just another day at the office, working to sell your home. If you're looking to sell your home, contact Kyle Jackson today. He's got your back.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I want to give a shout to everybody that's tuned in on Facebook Live. Thank you so much. Shout out to all of our new Spreaker family. Everybody who's going to tune in and watch this via Spreaker, I just want to say thank you. And we'll give you all of the information for how you can contact us. But now that we are back, I want to say thank you once again to our guest, Farlene. But I'm going to take us from home ownership to our hip-hop conversation.
Fun part.
Let's go. Give him a round of applause, Surge.
What's going on, family?
So, Larcen, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I have been a fan of yours for years now.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for inviting me on the show.
Yes, sir.
Happy to be here.
I just want to give a little quick background and then ask you to introduce yourself. I met Larcen at a place called the Crowbar, or at the time, I think they were doing Old Dirty Sundays, and he was doing a performance. And at the time, I was DJing.
At ODS?
At ODS, you were performing.
That's probably the only time that ever happened.
That you only performed there the one time.
Ever.
And that's so crazy because that's the only CD I actually took money out my pocket and purchased directly from an artist in like 10 years.
Appreciate it.
Because I'm telling you, people would give me CDs, they would send their DATs, they would send their thumb drives, they would just give me the music. I walked up to him and I was like, he did a show, it was fire. I was like, yo.
Good morning, Good Money mixtape.
And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I always tell him, because he and I have conversations from time to time, when you listen to his voice, he got the perfect raspy voice for hip-hop. It's so necessary. And so, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Larcen.
What's going on, Facebook family? How y'all doing out there?
All right. So tell us a little bit about where you from. Who's Larcen? Why should we know you?
I'm from where hip-hop is from. I'm from the Bronx, New York. You know what I mean? I grew up in the midst of hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? When I was born, that's all that was being played in my neighborhood on the radio. I heard nothing else but hip-hop and what became R&B, which was old-school classic 70s music anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I grew up hip-hop. I grew up in the mix, graffiti, breakdancing, rapping, and unfortunately doing things in the streets that most people should not be doing. But it was part of hip-hop.
Part of hip-hop.
The way I looked at it, it was all part of hip-hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, even when I got in trouble, it was like,
this is hip-hop. This is part of the game.
I'm a rapper, so I guess it's supposed to happen this way, but it's not supposed to happen that way.
It's interesting that you say that, and I do want to delve a little further into that. But it would be remiss of me if I don't give a shout-out, because I, too, am from the Bronx, New York, and
that's what's up.
I just want to give a shout-out to all my New York City family. Obviously, the BX,
listen,
Harlem.
Arlington Avenue, Uptown, 2 Train, Skakey. Y'all know what time it is. I'm not shouting nothing else. Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York. Then I have to say
Bronx,
my
New
people.
York.
So while he was at the 2, I was at the 5 with all my people from Co-op City, from the Valley, and then of course Gun Hill was where I jumped on the 2.
Yeah, that's where we meet.
With my family.
That's where the 2 and the
It's a
5 meet
beautiful
up.
look, right? Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But no, shout to the whole New York, man. Shout to everybody. You know, we just been through a hard time.
Yeah.
Shout to everybody in the United States, straight up.
Wonderful.
Shout to everybody in the world.
In the world, really.
Word.
Like, yeah.
Real talk.
And
But Bronx, New York.
salute.
Extra love there.
Extra
you know what
love. Okay. So there's a couple things that, on a hip hop note,
Right.
that I'm just going to spend just a brief amount of time with before we get into talking about your prowess as an investor and your knowledge into business. But there's a couple of things in the culture that I want to know, because we're doing this for the culture. Let's be clear. This hip hop and homeownership and hip hop show is really for the culture. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times people use the word, oh, it's for the culture, for the culture, for the culture. And when I say it's for the culture, I want to see people who define themselves as members of the hip hop community or as part of the hip hop culture rich. I'm going to be honest with you. I want you rich.
I understand.
I want you successful. I want you safe. I want you happy.
Right.
Because we've been through survival mode. As we spoke before the show, we talked a little bit about hip hop growing up, right? And how we've matured over the years. Because I start way back with DJ Hollywood, Sugar Hill Gang. You know, I posted a picture today with 3 of the legends that really made a huge impact for me. Which was Kumo D, Rakim, and Grandmaster Caz. There are people who are listening to hip hop today who wouldn't even know who those people
none
are.
of those people.
They don't know who they are.
I got Caz phone number on my phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
so it's essential that we talk about. We've been around this game for a long time, and we've met a lot of people along the way. Okay, let's start with this. What made you decide to become a rapper?
It was never a choice. It just happened. I did it in my youth. I did it as a joke, just because this is what we do in the Bronx.
On the Bronx, you're in the staircase. You might be blowing one, and I'm gonna just
in junior high school. I took the
spit
route
some
of
rhymes.
like Weird Al Yankovic and would make songs about food, and all my friends was like, "Yeah, you really good at that, man. You should try to do it." And then I heard Illmatic.
Salute Nas.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Then I heard Illmatic. And halftime, second
That's Chip
verse.
Tooth Nas.
Yeah.
That's early.
A teenager. I'm baffled. Like, yo, how does he putting these words together on time?
Okay.
And it's not like it's the first time I heard hip hop.
Right.
It's not even.
But
first
his
time I
style
heard-
was very
it's
different.
Not even the first time I heard different hip hop, because Rakim did that for me.
Correct.
But I was now a young teen in the street,
Yes.
so it was a different sound.
Because it sounded like what
Yeah,
you was
it was-
living and
okay,
what you
hold on.
believed, right? Like it was,
I'm wearing camo
I'm wearing
fatigues,
this.
and the police is looking at me crazy. He's rapping about this.
yes.
I can relate,
Amen.
and that's what got me in.
Got you into that. So, and it's a different thing from being, there are millions of rappers. There are hobbyists everywhere. Somebody's rapping right now somewhere. There's a man, there's a woman uploading something to SoundCloud right now. Okay? However, you're more than that. You took this beyond just you're off the block. You recorded music, and you had just before we go any further, I need you to can you just give me 5? Just give me 5 artists who you have either opened for or performed with.
Any order?
Any order.
All right. Nas, DMX, Wu-Tang Clan, KRS-One, Machine Gun Kelly.
He left off one of my faves, but that was
Who
more
your fave?
recent.
Who was your fave? Oh,
Beans.
Oh, but me and Beans' relationship is like different. But yes, Beans. Like me and Beans have formed a friendship
And
instead
so-
of a artist fan type of relationship.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
he took to me like I took to him, and
It's beautiful.
Like my son hung out with Beans, and I wasn't even there.
Speaking of your son, your
You know
son
what
is
I'm saying?
in studio.
Speaking of my son, he's here.
Hold on,
He's
let's
a
get him on
phenomenal
film.
artist.
Let's get him on the camera.
He's a phenomenal
Come on
artist.
over. Come on over.
Phenomenal.
Bring that picture over here. You know what I mean?
This is legendary moment right here.
That
we
one
have
right
a family affair with Larcen and his son,
This is my son, the artist. His name is _art_man on Instagram. He can draw anything.
Yeah,
He's
that's
also a
amazing.
tattoo
I
artist.
am also a tattoo artist.
I mean, I just had to plug him in. I know I'm here for me and hip hop, but art is a part of the culture. So
Absolutely.
this is what my
These
son.
are
This is what my
amazing.
son brings to
Right.
the table when it comes to hip hop.
No, that one right there.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I love
the
the
culture.
color.
I love it.
This is
Right.
the culture.
This is
son.
the culture.
Yeah.
Do you under-
Scarface? That's the culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But he's into anime, which is a whole
That's the whole new
Another
generation.
culture.
That's a whole
a whole
new
nother culture.
a culture that
And he can do
stems
anything
from
y'all
this
need,
culture.
man. Like real talk.
I'd love to get you to plug yourself real quick. Tell them your name, where they can find you.
On Instagram is _art_man. Other than that, that's really where I'm at.
I love your art. Thank you for bringing it into
Yeah,
That's
that
my
is-
son,
Yeah.
Justice Logan. Give him a round of
Nice
applause.
Just a round of applause. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now we jumped away fast because I didn't want to miss the fact
I wanna
that this
miss the
man
plug
said
one.
Nas, Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, these are legendary artists.
Most recently is out of what they call the new school. He's not a new school rapper whatsoever.
Okay.
Let me be clear.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But Conway the Machine.
Conway.
He is a lyricist.
Lyricist.
Salute. And I
But
had
see-
the pleasure of opening for him on the same stage that I opened for Nas as well. You know what I'm
Fantastic.
saying? So
So let me tell you why I asked you to speak on those experiences or mention those. A lot of times, I think that there are artists, and I told you this maybe a week ago, okay? There are artists in the Tampa Bay area who should be on. You are absolutely one of, and when I mean on the national, international stage.
What I'ma
This
say is this.
artist is well respected in the hip hop community globally, in the hip hop community locally, but I think your name should be known when they say who's from Florida. They mention Rick Ross. They mention
what I'm gonna say is this.
You should be in that conversation.
What I'm gonna say is this.
In my opinion.
Not everybody had or has the support of a team. It can be done, but it is hard for a hip hop artist to do it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And still
Yes.
be focused on being a hip hop
And being an
artist.
artist, exactly, because there's
It's
so
the
many
hardest
facets.
thing in the world, bro. You know how many songs I want to put out, but I didn't have a digital piece of art, which my son can help me with now. You know what I'm saying? But at the time,
Right.
before, we didn't come up with Facebook and all this.
Right.
Like all that shit was new to us. We didn't realize
Right.
what was being created. And now it's never too late.
Correct.
But like now it's like it's more than enough.
It's
Like,
so funny you said
it
never
went
too
from,
late.
It went from having no outlets for me to get my music, unless you knew somebody, to having all the outlets in the world by pushing the button.
That's right.
Now I don't need nobody.
You can get it all done right on
Nobody.
yourself.
I could go home. Look, the last song I recorded in my house. I sent it out. It got sent back to me. It's mixed. It's mastered. It's not done for y'all yet. But he heard it the other day.
And it's fire. Oh, wait. Look, I have a
I'ma let
really
you know,
good ear for
It's
you.
called This Is a Fact. And it is fire. And it'll be out in a good month. That's all I can tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? I had to plug that.
So and I need you to plug real quick. Now, I know you're available because one of the things that I like best about you is I wouldn't call you mainstream. Like, they may not play you on 95.7 The Beat. And I don't necessarily
I got
like
songs for them.
You got songs for
once
them.
I get there, they'll do it, but
Okay.
not right now. They
Not
won't.
right now.
No.
I like that you are on like that Piff. I like that you are on YouTube and Instagram, and it's
But
kind of.
I'm also on all the
reminds me
regular
of early
mainstream.
hip hop.
I'm also on Tidal and Apple Music and Spotify. I'm everywhere. Everywhere you can find music, you can find me if you're looking for me. So look.
You
for
should
me.
be
My name
looking
is
for-
Larcen, Larcen. You know what I'm saying? I am Larcen on all social media except Twitter. It's _Larcen_.
_ Larcen _ or I am Larcen on
Everywhere
all
else.
social media. So I want to encourage the listening audience. Many of you already know this young man, but I need you to go out. If you've never heard of Larcen's music, I'm telling you.
Go on that Piff and
go
search
on
On
now.
My Steady Grind or Good Morning Get Money. Those are my two projects that's free for y'all.
Thank
Other
me
than
later.
that, you got to pay a streaming service to get me.
And pay the service because you will be lit. I'm telling you, you're going to be like, this man is fire. I didn't know this. Why did I have to listen to Home Ownership and Hip Hop to find this out?
I promise I got more music coming for y'all. It's been a while, you know what I'm saying? I've been through some personal things in life. I shied away from the music, but I'm back.
Okay. So we talking about music, but I brought you here also because I know you to be very knowledgeable when it comes to investing. And so you and I had a conversation about something called calls and puts. And what are we talking about? What is a call? What is a put? What are we even thinking about? What are you into financially?
You have what we all know is the stock market.
Yes.
And then you have options for stocks and futures for stocks. I have no knowledge of futures yet.
Okay.
I've educated myself through YouTube and options.
Okay.
And I've made a lucrative profit over the time that I've decided to spend investing in options.
And what moved you in the direction of real estate? I'm sorry, I'm so tuned in for real estate, into stock investing. Like what when you said I'm gonna put some money into something to make some money?
Well,
why did you choose that?
I've always looked for the next investment move, no matter if it was legal or illegal.
Okay.
I've always looked for the next thing to generate more money.
Yes.
And when they quarantined everybody, that was something that I could do from home and from my phone, and not have to leave. I literally could be in my bed and make thousands of dollars. Like, literally. And I learned that and taught myself that.
Yes.
I thought about doing the YouTube thing, but that's not me. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I gladly teach my friends. I'll gladly have a Discord that everybody could join, but I don't see myself making YouTube videos about what you guys should invest in. I don't want no hate mail because I told y'all to invest in something and it didn't go your way.
Right.
Because I got plenty of investments that did not go my way. And
isn't that interesting? Yes, that is a part of it, right? Let's put a pin in that. Some things you don't win every time.
Anything you get into, you're going to understand there's ups and downs, and you have to be willing to endure all of it.
And that's a key piece. I was actually talking to my son this morning about that very thing. He is Gen Z. I'm a Gen Xer. He's a Gen Z.
He's a hybrid.
Of Gen Z and millennial? You on the list?
No, he's different, bro. Like, look, real quick, like if we on a long drive, if I give him the reins for the radio,
yes,
he might play some new music, but I'm telling you, he's gonna play like
classics,
Illmatic, and
it's how you're raised. You gotta be raised right.
He surprises me sometimes. I'm like, this kid is great.
That's
you know what I'm saying? Wu-Tang, like he wasn't even here for it.
Right.
I was hanging out with his moms for half the stuff he plays. It's crazy. It's bugged out.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. I love it too.
I think that though, I lost. Where was I going? I was talking about the Gen Z, and my son, right? And he said we were talking about work because he works for. He got a great job. He works for Apple. He's doing well, right? But I said to him, one of the things that my generation says about his generation is his generation doesn't want to work. Okay? They don't want to work. And he said, no, Dad, that's not true. I see the value in work. I just don't want to work how you work. You work hard. I work smart.
No.
Work and listen.
Bang, bang! Shut it down. I was proud of this young man.
But that's the point.
That is exactly the point that you
not harder.
Because so many people think that people don't want to work. They want to earn money. They just don't want to do it in the old way of we do it.
I don't want to get up in the morning and go work for some cracker, excuse me.
I don't know. We'll edit that.
Listen, I'm talking about the establishment, not a person.
Yes.
Understand what I mean when I say that.
Yes.
I do not want to work for
the establishment.
Okay. And not be treated how I should be treated as a human being, let alone a black man in America.
Yes.
So I do things my way.
Right. And you can.
And you can.
And you can win and make good money.
Like he said, he had his own mortgage company. She works for a mortgage company. It's not hers, but she's a high-ranking officer there.
Right.
He had his own. It failed because of society and the economic pressure.
Yes.
That,
and people bubble. And we take losses.
And again, we take losses.
But when you was winning, we were winning.
You got a realtor label on, right?
Yes,
so what you did, you dusted yourself up and kept going.
That's all you can do.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all you can do.
Exactly.
And it's an interesting thing because, so I don't want to go too long on them, but I want to make the point that it's not that they don't want to work. It's that they want to work in a way that gives you what you asked for. You wanted more time with your children. Right. You want more time for yourself, more freedom. You want ownership. You want equity. Yeah. And these are words that must be a part of the conversation going forward.
Here's another thing. How old is social media?
Not that old.
Not even 15.
Not
Probably
that old.
A good 15, if that, right?
Okay.
So with social media comes a lot of people say lazy ways to make money.
Right.
But like my son doesn't have to have a job.
He creates. He's a creator.
I encourage him to get all the money in the world. Go get a job, do what you do, get all the money.
of it.
But if he doesn't want one, but it's okay with me because he's still being productive.
Correct.
And guess what? Stuff like Instagram and Facebook, he gets clients through.
Let me tell you, I get clients on Facebook regularly. I'm regularly advertising on Facebook, now more so also on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on every social platform.
Right, and
okay?
I say that to say this, though. Like, your son said, work smarter and not harder.
Absolutely.
People say Instagram influencers are lazy. Bro, they're getting money
They are getting
do
great money.
They're doing what they want to do. And guess what? When you scroll, you stop at one of them.
Yes.
There's one of them that you like.
Yep.
You might not like them all, but there's one of them
yes.
that you like. Oh, this is my dude. He's funny.
There's
And
lots of
guess
them.
what?
that's
When you
like
stop, you're paying him.
Correct. I watched a young man. I don't know if you're familiar with the name Country Wayne. Country Wayne. He did very well for
Right.
himself.
Hilarious.
Funny man, right?
He is
Did
hilarious.
very well.
And I only know him through
Instagram.
Yup.
I only know you
But
through Instagram.
But you're famous to me, bro.
Correct.
I know exactly who you are.
And so-
I would go pay for your show.
That's right. And let's not be remiss, because I know that some people are in favor of it, some people aren't. But do you know there's a lot? My son brought it up. That's why I'm going to bring it up. He said they were arguing about, is it really money to make money on platforms like OnlyFans? I said, man, that woman is making a ton of money. She's rich.
Right.
I know kids that make money playing
Video games
on Twitch.
on Twitch.
So don't tell me
That's not only.
if money goes in your account and it's tangible
Money's money.
and you can spend it, it's money.
Absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
Legal or illegal.
You can get money.
It's money.
It's money. And so that is an inspiring fact, because I like this part of the conversation a lot, because we want our listening audience, obviously we want them to do it legally.
Of course.
but
I just come from a certain life to where
Yes.
I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? And understand that there was a time in my life I did not care about the law.
yes.
But I didn't have much to lose, like we spoke about.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I did anything that I felt was necessary for me to get a dollar.
Yes. But you're not, fortunately, no longer in that situation.
No, bro.
We've grown.
We got the internet.
Sure.
We got the internet.
Yeah, we're well.
You know the internet works, bro.
So I'm so glad we had a chance to not only introduce you to this audience, and that you are in the inaugural show as well, because
I appreciate
that
it.
is
I appreciate you
fantastic.
having me, man.
Thank
For
you.
real.
But I want to bring all of us into a conversation right after this commercial break. Okay, we're gonna run a commercial. We're gonna run a little bit of Larcen's music, because we definitely want to make sure that we hear. I'm bigging him up, so you should be able to hear him, right?
I mean, I can rap a little bit. He might be. I mean,
No, let him run. Let him run the
he might-
music
he might
on the
be-
commercial.
yeah.
And
he might be raising the bar. I don't know.
when we come back, we're going to have a conversation about a few questions I'm going to ask you that I think hopefully will not only intrigue you, but our listeners and our viewers.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Serge?
Oh, yeah,
That's going to check all the boxes, and one that's got your back. That realtor is Kyle Jackson from Savin Premier Real Estate.
You want a realtor that's going to be with you through the entire selling process. My name is Kyle Jackson. I'm a realtor with Savin Premier Real Estate, and I got your back.
Make the easiest decision when it comes to selling your home. Choose the realtor that's going to go the extra mile and assure you that you made the right choice. Contact Kyle Jackson today. He's got your back.
Shorty want it every night. She want it every night. Said she want it every night. She want it every night. Shorty want it every night. She want it every night. Said she want it every night. She want it every night. 'Cause I hit it very right. 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 So I get it every night. Shorty want it every night. So I give her steady play. I be on my Twitter and she be on her steady skank. I be on my steady grind, so she on the steady grind. I call her my apple juice. Yeah, mommy is very fine. Mommy got that juice box. It be juicy every time. So I dig deep, give her plenty mom. She be screaming, it's like deep A, deep A. So I hit it hard like the bass in the speaker. Okay, Law, he could tease her Law, he could please her. Have her say it, it's like, Law, he's a freak. Mommy, you could doubt her. Oh, you don't believe her. Let me eat that piece of and I make you a believer. Shorty want it every night. She want it every night. Says she want it every night. She want it every night. Shorty want it every night. She want it every night. Says she want it every night. She want it every night. 'Cause I hit it very right. 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 So I get it every night. Mommy want it every night, all night. 'Cause I hit the walls right. Law, he a beast. Have her climbing up the walls like Spider-Man. Give her hard pipe. Call me Iron Man. Call me Young Stamina. Never getting tired, man. I could go all night. Give her what she want. Like I could open up her eyes. I could give her more sight. I could give her foresight. Law, he the future. Real good loving. Give her something she ain't used to. So she like the call, get the creeping on the late night. So we get the freaking, never sleeping on the late night. She be having bad days, so I give her great nights. Never in the daylight. Me and mommy shorty want it every night. She want it every night. So she want it every night. She want it every night. Shorty want it every night. She want it every night. So she want it every night. She want it every night. 'Cause I hit it very right. 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 So I get it every night. Shorty wanna ride.
I wanna take you there. 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 I wanna take you there.
Beat stay rock, DJ rock. I'm LAR, he's J rock. First she pop, then she rock. And the party keep going till we say stop. Beat stay rock, DJ rock. I'm LAR, he's J rock. First she pop, then she rock. And the party keep going till we say stop.
Somewhere along the line, I simplify the rhyme. And now I'm in the prime. Now I can go. 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 Now I can go.
Baseline thump in the club and it's packed. Wall to wall from the front to the back. VIP, jumping in fact. Every looking from the rum to the yak. Take another shot, take another shot. From the block, we gon' take it to the spot. Big bank roll, money in the knot. Hundreds on the bottom, couple hundreds on the top. Like, make it rain, they ain't no games. Bottom on ice, pretty ass games. All of them bad, pretty ass brains. So I got no time for these silly ass lanes.
And if you ain't no lame, put your hands off in the sky. And put one finger in the air if you look getting fly. Somewhere along the line, I simplify the rhyme. And now I'm in my prime. Now I can go. 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 Now I can go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let me pull this girl some more. Club is crunking, system pumping. Let me get this party jumping. Like bounce, bounce, everybody bounce. I ain't trick daddy, but I take it to the house. Shower on deck, baking by the ounce. And I'm from up north, but I'm caking in the south. Sipping shots of the Henny, shots of Ciroc, shots of Patron, shots on the rocks, shots to the dome, shot after shot, shot to my home, shot to my block. So rock, rock, DJ rock. I'm LAR, DJ rock. First she pop, then she drop. And the party keep going till we say stop.
Somewhere along the line, I simplify the rhyme. And now I'm in the prime.
And we're back with an echo. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Jackson, realtor, Tampa, Florida, Savin Premier Real Estate. And I am joined by my illustrious guest, Farlene Flack with Bliss Mortgage, and the legend himself, Larcen. I am Larcen. And we are here in studio with Team Flowhio Radio. I have both Mr. Santana, both Mr. Santanas with me this afternoon. I have Sergio and Alfie in the building to join for the inaugural show. If you are tuned in, you can't see Alfie, but he is here, I promise.
He is. He's right.
He's really here. There you go.
So look, he's got to be.
He's in there. Okay, and so now I'd like to bring. I had a chance during the initial segment to interview and talk to both of you separately, but I'd like to kind of bring us all together now and talk about some things that I think are relevant questions that we should address, not only for the culture, not only for the hip hop community, but for homeownership and the Tampa Bay and Florida community as well. Because one of the nice things that I really like about being a realtor in Florida is people come here from everywhere. Right? It is a great place to buy and invest in real estate. And it's a great place for people to relocate. I've met a number of people recently. In fact, Farlene and I are on the verge of helping a client who is from Illinois to purchase a home here in the Tampa Bay area. Yeah. So we are working together on that deal. And we are also have people who come down from New York, come from California. People buy investment properties here. It's a great location, not only for the fact that we are what they call Champa Bay meaning the
y'all gotta win the baseball first.
We gotta have all three. Oh, okay.
They really do.
We can't get the love for the Bucks.
I'm a Yankee fan. I'm going for the Rays. The Yankees is out. They're going against Boston. Boston gotta go.
Boston gotta go. Let's go Rays. Let's go Rays. Let's go Bucks. Let's go Lightning. Let's go to Route. Everybody Tampa Bay. We with y'all. Okay, 813. And salute to the Bronx, New York, because that's where we're both from originally, for sure. Okay, so I know that I want to mention that homeownership isn't totally foreign to the hip-hop community. But a lot of times we only think of it in terms of the wealthiest amongst us, right? Because we know, I'm going to rattle off a list of some homeowners in the hip-hop community that I'm sure you may have heard of, right? We're going to start with Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Drake, Nelly, 50 Cent, Tyga, Kanye West, Pharrell Williams, Lil Wayne, Birdman, Will Smith, Dr. Dre.
They have multiple houses.
Multiple houses, extremely large mansions. These are incredibly rich people who a good portion of their wealth has been generated through the investment in real estate.
Correct. Rick Ross's first property was given to him by his parents, though.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I read his book.
That's
but
fantastic.
He said that was a jewel that he got from his parents, always to invest in real estate, which hence he has the biggest house
in Georgia.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
100, not 100 acres, hundreds of acres. I think he was at 300 acres the last time I heard.
That's actually Zamunda.
Right.
That's the Palace of Zamunda.
The Palace of Zamunda. Real talk, that was in the movie for
that's
real.
The Palace of Zamunda, and he's in the movie, and they paid him to use his house,
just like they paid
and they gave him a check to act.
Amen. Whew. So can we get a round of applause for Rick Ross? Let's go. Give him a round of applause. That is
on those wing stops.
That is fantastic. Boss move. Absolutely boss move.
Nah. Salute though.
Salute, and does now some public speaking as well. I've seen him on a number of stages talking about investments.
I mean, his new. I haven't read his new book. I want to, but it's an investment teaching. Self-help type of book. You know
I think it's wonderful.
The last book that I did read is more of a memoir book about his life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out.
That's
okay.
Right. I didn't know he wrote for EPMD. Yeah, see,
the things that you find.
It's a lot.
So let's make that an important side note. Salute C. Renee for checking in.
Hey, C. Renee.
Thank you, C. Renee. Yeah. Salute. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate you tuning in.
You had a beautiful performance. I know you know, but that was the last time I saw you.
For those who go beyond the Tampa Bay area and in the world, C. Renee is an R&B artist who is a staple here in not only the Tampa Bay area, throughout Florida, well respected, well known. Yes. And so thank you so much for tuning in, Queen. So in addition to that, we were talking about the people who have invested in real estate and Rick Ross's acquisitions, right? For wealth generation. I would venture to say that all of the people that I've named have created for themselves and their families generational wealth. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So then what is, by your definition, what is generational wealth? That's a kind of a catchphrase people throw around a lot. Okay. What are we talking about when we say that?
To me, and I think by definition, is when you're able to leave your loved ones wealth and property. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, cash is cool, money's cool, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
it can be spent, it can be squandered.
My dad just died a year ago,
and
all he left was money, which is because that's all he had. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to leave just money for my children.
I just want to say shout to your father for leaving money. Some people only leave just
understand.
You getting this jacket.
Yeah, no. But like,
you getting this bill.
Sometimes it's unfortunate. That's all people have is a jacket.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying?
So thankfully,
fortunately, my father had money to leave from you know what I'm saying, for the family.
That's fantastic.
But that, you know, that's not enough. I'd rather him have left property or land.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the amount of money came from the insurance policy. That's going to go one day. Yes, it can be used to invest in something, but I'd rather have
the actual tangible asset.
Correct.
Okay.
Because that to me is always that's a value that can't go nowhere. I mean, yes, the market can go up and down, but it's never going to be $0.
And it's yours. Correct.
And it's mine.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I grew
and
up,
and it's an asset that you can make money with, right?
I grew up in I grew up in apartments, renting. And guess what? When you don't have the rent, you get evicted.
Yes.
When you own something, you don't get evicted.
Right. You can get foreclosed on.
Hold on. I was gonna say you can get foreclosed on, but let's be real. Most people that are paying mortgage are paying less than what people paying rent. So it's hard for you to get there.
Absolutely, especially now.
It's hard for you to get there if you're in that position.
Right. You almost have to. I mean, certainly life circumstances do happen to people. People get sick. People have extreme circumstances where they wind up losing their homes. We never want that for anyone. But there are even options before you get there.
Yes.
You can sell that property and get away from it before you get that far.
I had a friend, we're no longer friends now, but when I first moved to Tampa, he was going through that. His house was being foreclosed. He, fresh out the Navy, and he didn't have the means to get it, but then he spoke to a lawyer, and it was a process. It was a 3-year process. Somebody else was living in his house for a good 3 years, but he got his house back. And
wonderful. And shout to the fact that he is a veteran. Shout to all of our veterans who are listening in and tuning in, because we didn't even talk, Farlene, about VA loans and how powerful those are. So since that's a perfect transition from Larcen about the someone who overcame a hardship for one of our veterans, right, and was able to get his home back. Would you tell us a little bit, what is a VA loan?
A VA loan is a loan that is backed by the government to support those veterans that supported us a long time ago. So it's good for them. They get a certain amount to help towards closing costs and down payment, and it's just a benefit that they get that they'll always have to help them secure and make sure that that they have a home.
I think that's one of the best programs
I
out.
agree.
I think it's fantastic. If any veterans are listening, again, please do reach out to Farlene or myself if you're looking for a home.
I'd love to support
we would love to help you. We'd love to support our military. So, going back, during the break, we talked about something that we didn't get to. My good friend Larcen here, he opened up, he gave you a long list of some of the hip-hop greats that he has performed with. But he left off one of my personal and all-time favorites. One
of my personal all-time favorites too. It was just the way the
conversation went.
The conversation went. Okay. It didn't go that way.
So I'm not going to steal his thunder. Would you tell us what that person was?
Mr. Raspy, Jada Kiss, bro.
That is a round of applause for Jada Kiss, the Locks.
Jada. And I got video of, because he was actually leaving the club when my performance started. Yeah. So I decided to walk along his entourage and rap my song while they were leaving. And by the time he got to the exit, he was rapping my song along with me, and it's all on video. It was a great moment.
On that.
It was a great moment. You know what I'm saying? Him and Lil C's was there. It was fire. It was dope.
That is dope. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was that whiskey.
That was that.
I remember that.
You was there. You see? I wasn't even supposed to perform.
I love it. That and I wanted you to mention that because we were also talking about verses and the impact. You know, during your segment and while we talked, you talked about how young the internet really is and how this is a new frontier for us to be able to create our own content, and distribute, market, do what we have to do without needing and paying someone else to do it.
Look at the Locks right now.
Locks,
they are good right now.
They are super good because they did a great job on the verses. And verses by itself, salute Timbaland and my main man Swiss Beats,
of course,
for creating this.
Shout out to
and everyone involved.
The Bronx, Boston Road, you know what I'm saying?
And also salute Fat Joe, who is
a Bronx Boys.
I like the Bronx Boys jumping in there. Yesterday's price is not today's price. I do
Never.
like that.
Yesterday's price is definitely not today's price.
And the thing was, it was birthed through this whole pandemic.
It was birthed through the pandemic.
course.
People were at
Listen,
home.
look,
There was no
look.
verses before the pandemic.
Now?
This is crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but Jeezy and Gucci even
That was a
squashed
major
it.
move.
Major.
Because there was
that
death
was-
involved
that was-
in that.
Listen, that was
and
street.
he rapped about that was a super
That was
street
super
thing.
street thing, and there
Yes.
was, like you said, there was death involved in that. So
It could have went
they-
way left, and it
now
didn't.
now they're going on
thankfully it
tour.
didn't. Is that right?
The
Together?
Legends of the Street tours. Rick Ross, Jeezy, Fab, Gucci is crazy.
Incredible.
I need to open
So,
for that one.
but that also speaks to that we are maturing.
Right.
As the hip hop culture continues to grow and evolve and mature,
Right.
we are into different things. Like you're investing, like buying and selling houses, investing. We are maturing right along with the culture. And another thing we talked about while off air was the fact of how much of an impact hip hop has not only had in our lives, but on society
The world.
in general, the world, right? We talked about how Snoop Dogg made Tangeray millions of dollars. Jay-Z made Cristal millions of dollars. Okay? Currently, Beyonce is making Tiffany millions of dollars.
Hip hop has made Rolex
Millions of dollars. You know how many people have purchased Rolexes, have purchased clothing lines? We're talking about the
don't have a house
impact
yet.
of we listen to the music. You gotta,
I don't have a house yet, but I got a
not
Rolex.
yet, but he can't have a house if he wants to.
Rolex.
This is clear.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
And the interesting thing is that we have such a cultural impact. I admit it. I've been listening to hip hop since '79. I started off way early. Sugar Hill Gang, DJ Hollywood, Grandmaster Caz, all of these guys, right? And now that we have evolved to where we are, I think that it's an interesting transformation because now people are talking about acquiring land, buying houses, investing in stocks, cryptocurrency. We've evolved to a place where we are interested in how do we create wealth for ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
And hip hop is an important player in this.
Oh, of
It's an
course.
important player because I drank Tangeray because Snoop Dogg said it. I drank Cristal because Jay-Z said it.
And now you're investing in crypto because Nas said it.
Nas said invest in crypto. I bought Adidas because Run DMC said it.
Right.
Right?
And
so
bought crypto before they
Larcen
told me to say it.
said, I have said, now we are talking about buying homes, buying land, investing and building generational wealth because hip hop is talking about home ownership. Okay? That's why we're here. So here's the questions. I know I went on a little bit of a rant. I gave you all of the people who have invested and own real estate. Okay? But here's the question. You know, Style, after that show, after that Versus where the Locks decimated Dipset, salute to the Locks.
Bro, they cooked the bird.
Cooked it. Okay? After that, I saw them on another famous podcast. It's a little more famous than home ownership in hip hop. It's called The Breakfast Club. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I saw them on a little bit, just a little bit. I saw them on that show, and Styles P said, hip hop is poor people's music, and I was a little upset about it. I didn't like that verbiage because I said, my God, poor people's music. I better call Jay-Z and Beyonce and let them know you are poor people. You're doing poor people's music.
They're not making it.
They do. Jay-Z is
I
definitely
love, listen,
making it.
Jay is my dude.
Right.
But he's not. He's
Nas
he's so far removed from music right now.
Okay, so let's move.
He's culturally invested.
He's invested in Tidal. And
He's culturally invested. Like,
of course, he's at a whole nother level, billionaire.
yeah,
status.
like he's doing.
So let's
music
bring it
just
down
to,
further.
Yeah,
Let's bring it down further. Nas has made some investment moves, like the Ring doorbell, like some of Lyft. He is a multi-millionaire, right? And he has bought lots of assets, including lots of real estate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There are lots of others who have done this. And what I'm not hearing, though, in the record, since you brought that up, I hear us rapping about cars. I hear us rapping about liquors and jewels. I hear us rapping about clothes like Supreme. And I hear these things. But what I want to hear is more about land acquisition.
Then you have to
Home
listen
ownership.
you have to listen to who's talking about that.
Who would you say is talking?
Because hip hop has always had the puppeteers creating the agenda,
Yes.
right?
Industry rule number 4008.
Right. Now,
We talked
there's
about
there's been so many different agendas throughout our
time.
lifespan of hip hop.
Correct.
We're not going to get into what the current ones are or aren't because that's very controversial. But what I'm saying is, its influence. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nas can speak about cryptocurrency and home ownership and land, but guess what? The masses aren't listening for that. So he's got to put it into a song that's not talking about that.
Correct.
And you have to listen and decipher what the hell is good to listen to and not to listen to. And that goes for anything through hip hop.
Yes, that's true. And
What
I like
has
diversity in
substance?
hip-hop.
I do too, because I come
years
from
ago it was gangster rap versus
I come-
conscious rap, right? Like that was an era of you talking conscious, you talking streets, right? But there was a
But
place
I
for
come
it.
from Dead Prez, where they both gangster and conscious.
Amen. Salute Dead Prez. Give a round of
And
applause for the Dead
those are my
Prez.
brothers. Stickman and M1, those are my brothers. We all got the same tattoo on our neck.
Salute to
Look,
that
they
is
the
one of
first
my
ones
favorite
to-
hip hop groups
They the
ever.
first ones to put me on stage.
Really?
Ever.
Is that
Ever.
That's wild. That's a great plug for just for you
Ever.
and for the culture. So thank you for sharing that.
100%.
Salute Dead Prez. Dang, I should have.
So, yeah,
we might have to have them.
That's another one's I hope.
Yeah, I just that's major, major. So okay, coming back, I just want to ask a couple questions of you guys. Okay, this question's for you, Farlene.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
No, but yeah.
Okay, so people refer to. I'm sure you've heard people say, owning a home is the American dream.
Right.
Okay. So, would you agree with that statement? Do you agree that it's the American dream? And is it American dream for people in the hip hop community? Because some people, going back to my point about Styles P saying that this is poor people's music, some people feel like they have been deprived of that American dream for, I don't know, nobody ever taught me about a credit score. Nobody ever taught me about home ownership. Like Ross got the leg up because his family members gave him a house, right? That's the equivalent. And it's not that he had to go through his own struggles, but if you have somebody telling you there's such a thing, you may not even know what a credit score is if nobody's ever talked to you about it.
I'm going to let her answer because she was asked, but I have input.
You want to input? Go for it.
Oh, I want to hear what you have to say. I know. Yes, and now his turn now.
is the American dream for those in the hip hop community? Is hip hop a part of that dream? I mean, it's home ownership. Excuse me. Is hip hop part of the American dream for the hip hop community?
I think so. Everybody's different, and with working remotely, people might not want that home anymore. But I think, like you said throughout this, building wealth is in the hip hop dream. And so a home, where you just go home every night might not be a dream, but building wealth is. And buying a house, whether you live in it or not, helps you attain that wealth. So for example, I'm a numbers girl. So I just came out an article by BlackRock. In the last quarter, homeowners have achieved $2.1 trillion in equity. That was an average of $51,000 per homeowner in the last 3 months.
I have two friends that live in Riverview, Florida right now
Right.
that they're up approximately like $200,000 from their initial investment.
From their initial investment.
Right.
And they're just like, bro, I didn't even expect this.
I
but
didn't
like,
do anything.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
Right, you just bought a house and now you have $200,000. You didn't do anything.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You didn't even do anything.
So, right. So even if the dream isn't like having the children and having the sedan and rolling up and doing that, the dream is also building wealth.
I want to interject something from one of our audience members. See, Renee is still on the check-in.
I see.
And
My
she
boo right
said, for the hip-hop community, oftentimes it's not the goal for the individual artist or the individual member of the culture. They have this idea, I want to buy a home for my mom.
Yes, see, like,
Right.
that's...
I want to get a home for mom.
That's, all right, see, I'm a mama's boy, and that's... If I attained a whole bunch of hip-hop money or a lump sum of money at one time, I would definitely go the Frank Lucas route. Go grab mama up and be like, Mama, this your house.
This your house.
You know what I'm saying?
We watched a lot of people do it too.
Whether that house was a mother-in-law suite on my property or her own.
Yes.
Right.
She might not even want it. My mother's lived in the Bronx her whole life. She's moved to Florida, and she's in the Bronx right now because she misses the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can get accustomed to being home.
So, like,
no matter where home is.
And I grew up with my mother. She was a single mother. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. So she doesn't want no big house, even when she gets a house.
Right. But she would like to own a house. She wants a little cozy, little crib. I can't do no little house. Well, some people love tiny house. Salute Tiny House Nation. That tiny
salute
house
the Tiny House Nation. But I'm a hip hop kid.
Yeah, you want a big
I watch
house.
MTV Cribs.
Right. And it's so great that you just said that. Because that was big in late 90s. MTV Cribs was a big show. We were looking at how folks was living.
Here's where the disconnect comes. Now, I can't afford MTV Cribs.
But that's Reggie Noble's
house. That's what I want, right?
Reggie Noble's house was a little...
Hold on, though. But Reggie Noble's house is still equitable.
It is. Ugly house, ugly house, big house, small house.
That's what somebody like me had to learn today instead of knowing that 15 years ago when I had a little bit of money.
I might have to have Larcen on as a regular co-host because this man is giving me jewels. There's important things in what he just said. Just because you start small doesn't mean anything. A seed can turn into an oak tree.
100%.
Okay?
But I learned that now in my life. In my 30s, I learned that.
Late in life, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to start somewhere. Some people think, I don't have the money, I can't buy a mansion. You advertising, Mr. Jackson. I see your videos on Facebook. All you sell is luxury. I'm not calling you. As though I don't sell regular $150,000 houses, $200,000. I sell every kind of. I help people rent. I don't help with just one thing. You can rent, you can buy, you can invest, everything.
You understand the disconnect is some people feel, I want that big house or the nicer house.
Of course.
And they're like, I'm not going to spend the money I don't have or what they think they don't have on something they don't feel feasible for them.
They don't understand.
And they don't understand that it is feasible for them.
It is feasible for you.
All you have to do is put
money
a little work
available.
into it.
You can there are programs for first-time home buyers.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm learning all of this in these past 3 years.
So this leads me to my follow-up question.
Open the book.
Right. Now, I don't want to go down a dark road. Remember, because this question can lead very many directions. Okay? So stay with me.
I'm going to give it to her.
Stay with me. This is for both of y'all. Answer your truth. But, we know the history, because part of what you described with mom and lots of moms not having, we can certainly attribute to society. Things like redlining. There are whole books about, race and how that plays a part. But we're not going down that road. Hear me out. What I want you to answer for me, though, is with so many people who do want to get into homeownership, they want to be there, right? And we know that there are ways that they can get there. They have programs, they have classes, they have YouTube, the information's available.
Right.
Is this a mindset issue for people? Have they been indoctrinated to believe? And why weren't they taught to believe this in our education system? Why didn't we learn more? Why didn't we learn real estate? Why didn't we learn
the educational system is not meant to teach. It's meant to show you how to be a factory worker. That's why you sit in lines and you raise your hand and go to... You're meant to be a factory worker. That's what America was built on at a certain time. The industrial. So school is for that. The same classroom 100 years ago is going on today. You know what I'm saying? So there's no change. There's no
change. No change in the feeding.
It's the same.
They're trying.
They're trying? What? Putting it online?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, like even back in the day, they didn't have any. Like in our current era, they didn't have any education on.
Right, but they still do it the same traditional way. You still go to the classroom. You still have to sit there.
Farlene, chime in. Let's hear it.
You're being taught to work 8 hours a day for somebody else when you go to school for the same amount of time.
Taught to work, not taught to own.
Right.
Right. It's hard, especially coming from being a teacher.
Right.
And I was one of those people who just taught algebra, and every day I'd get the question, why are we learning this?
Why are we learning this? Why do I need to know the Pythagorean theorem? Why do I know
and it was hard because
I have a question for y'all.
Sure.
Is it better for a person who is it better to buy land or a home?
I want land.
Go for it.
I mean, it just depends on what you want, really. But a home with land, like I have about an acre.
A home, okay, the
my
home
house.
with land. Okay,
Right.
so
I have a different answer.
You have a different answer? Well, I want to hear your answer.
No, I want to finish hearing
No,
your answer.
I'm just saying personally, I wanted some land because I have 2 crazy boys, and I just throw them outside. And that was my... throw them
Go outside, run.
Exactly. So I needed some land for them to run. And so
Okay.
for me, I didn't want the HOA in the little neighborhood. I wanted some land, and then that way we could build that mother-in-law in the back
can
if
do
we
whatever
want.
you want, right.
Right, and stuff like that. So
And
that
Good
was-
point.
Right.
With me,
does that cost a lot more than just buying a house? Like how's
so let me address.
Right,
let me
that's a
answer
good
the question,
question.
and I'll answer
Right,
that part
right.
too.
cool?
So what I can tell you about real estate is there are lots of ways to make money with real estate. Some people make real estate and land. Make money with land. Some people make money with houses. Some people, we hadn't even touched on commercial real estate, how you can buy a strip mall, a building.
Correct.
We haven't even gotten to that point. But there are people who also make money around real estate. So
I
there
understand.
are people who sell things to realtors, sell things to mortgage companies. I have this magazine, Realtor Magazine. They make their money advertising to realtors, people who want to advertise to realtors, things like that. And so my answer would be, what's your objective?
Right.
Do you want to have a house that you can live in? Do you want to have a house that you can rent out? Do you want land so you can clear it out and you can put a business on it?
Like she said, I
you
want
want
to
a farm?
I want to be able to do whatever I want on my land.
So then I would recommend acreage, right? You can have a house. It's better to buy a house with land.
Okay,
Right?
that's-
Because otherwise you have to then prepare the land, right?
Right, yeah,
you
of
have to
course.
set it for electricity, add
Right,
a
right.
well. You have to have a place for sewage. You have to have all of these things that now cost you additional money.
course.
Speaking of which, if you are interested in buying a piece of land, I would encourage you to take a look at 8020 Riverview Drive here in Riverview, Florida.
told me about
I am the listing
I saw it.
agent. That
You told me
piece of
about this
property is
land.
currently available for $150,000. Link will be up on Facebook and all platforms. Take a look. Going back, so if you want land and you have a plan for the land, buy land. Otherwise, buy a house with land that you can add to. You can partition the land. I'm going to sell this portion of the land. I can sell these trees. I can sell the mineral rights. I can sell the water rights. I can allow people to hunt on my land. I can allow people to do... There are so many ways,
correct.
levels
Correct, yeah,
to this
that's
thing to make a lot of money. Okay? And so I would encourage you, the more... I have a friend, he has 100 acres in Georgia. He has 100 acres in Georgia. Part of the land he rents for grazing purposes. He sells trees off of his land. He allows people to come hunt on his land for a fee. Right? Like, there's all kinds of ways that you can get it. And he owns it, and, now you do have to maintain it. You do have to pay taxes. You have to go.
Of course.
100 acres is a good amount of property to make sure ain't nobody just living on your property rent free. Right? You got to go check it out. And so, but you can have it. And I don't want people to think small. A lot of times we think, if I could just get my little house, because we've been trained to expect so little when you can have so much, right? You don't have to believe I can just get my little 2-bedroom house and I'll be okay. I'm going to tell you a prayer I once heard. Side note. The lady was homeless. She kept praying, if I could just get a room, Lord. If I could just get a room. Next thing you know, somebody offered her a room. Man, if I just had enough space. If I just had enough space to just, I need a little space for my clothes. I'm not asking for a lot. I just want a little space. The room upstairs opened up. They said you can have it. It's more spacious. She had enough for a room, for her clothes. My question at the end of this whole scenario that they build out when they tell her story is, if you're getting your prayers answered, right? Why didn't you ask for a house?
Go big.
Why didn't you go big? If you are praying to the God, if you believe your God is the God of the whole universe, I'm going to ask for what I want, not for what I think my little PB. I don't know if I should be asking. Let me get that.
All of it.
Right. There's nothing wrong with having wealth. And that's part of the conversation for the hip hop community, right? We kind of segment our wealth to things, right? Like to We feel like we're wealthy if you have a car or a chain, you got the newest phone, you got the freshest clothes. But I want us to start thinking in terms of real assets that are revenue generating, right? And so that's what we're going to build on over the next several weeks on this show. Next question, moving forward, okay? Here we go.
Your turn.
So, we did determine that there is an American dream. We kind of maybe feel like it's part of the hip-hop dream, too. It's part of the hip-hop culture. Maybe not for ourselves, but for our loved ones. Maybe we want our wives and children, our parents in a home. We want to be successful to them, right? But beyond the American dream, when you get that house, you got a house. You said you're working on one. Once you get one, what's your exit strategy? Here's what I mean by that. So a lot of people, we talk about buying a thing. You got it. Great. Now, how do you get money out of this thing? How do you get out of this? Right? Because even if you own a business, when you open up your business, you should have an exit strategy. At some point, you want to retire. Yeah. At some point, you want to cash out, get yours, and lay up on the beach. Okay? It's the same principle with home ownership. However, I think a lot of people don't think in terms of exit strategies, and I know that for sure, because there are people who are living in homes, they just have never even considered trying to sell. One of the areas that I think of most prominently here in the Tampa Bay area is right over near Armature Works. You know, before they built Armature Works, that was the hood, right? Mm-hmm. The hood. Okay? The hood, though. Okay? And now, the hood.
Right.
It went from Target to Target over there.
Even where I live, though.
Yes, was the hood, but now there's a total revitalization happening over there. Okay? And so I know there are people who have been sitting on Tampa houses back when you could get a house in Tampa for $40,000.
My first house was like $60,000.
I wish I was educated.
But we didn't know. We didn't know. Had the money. Could have had it back then.
Listen, when I was younger,
yes,
and it was the late 90s, I believe, in Harlem, they were selling brownstones for a fucking $1.
What?
$1.
Brownstones
for
$1.
That's
I remember
crazy.
$1. I knew nothing about it until it was too late. And I was like, I would have went in my piggy bank. I was young. I would have went in my piggy bank. What?
Let me get that
$1.
But here's the catch. Let's talk about that briefly, because I remember that as well. And I had my brother-in-law. He had an opportunity to purchase one of the brownstones in Harlem for $1. Now let's be clear. At the time, Harlem was burnt out. There's crackheads.
Oh
there,
yeah, I know.
Right? You going into a building where you're going to have to gut it, you're going to have to rehab it, you're going to have to get drug dealers out of here, you're going to have to get dope fiends out of here. It was wild.
That's cool for $1.
For $1. I worked through that. But everybody ain't built for that, okay? Now, for those who are built for it, though, there's still those kinds of opportunities around the country. For example, in Detroit.
I was just about to say Detroit.
I just got an offer for $1,200 to buy a house.
Okay? But keep in mind, now you see this ugly house, they sold it to you for $1,200. But the reason they're selling this for $1,200 is because every house on the street is burnt out.
Oh, yes.
The whole neighborhood is in trouble.
Yes.
Right? So if you really are thinking in terms of smart investing and you got the resources to do it, I'm going to get this street. I'm going to get $1,200 for this. Let me get all of these.
Let me get this block, knock all this
and
down.
I'm going to revitalize this whole thing. Okay? Now you're talking real money. And guess what? You can use your own money, because when you're investing, I believe most lenders want about, 30% down?
Yeah, anywhere from 20 to 30 or plus.
30% down or more on the investment. So you may have to do it, but this is a great time for me to remind you that one of the greatest ways to build wealth is by pooling your resources. Far too frequently, everybody want to be the king and everybody want to fly solo. Instead of getting together, pool your monies together, and now you have a bigger pot and everybody can eat. And then you've made money, now you can go off and do your own thing. But don't be afraid to work together, okay? So I wanted to mention that. Now, going back. So we talked about exit strategy, right? You got to have an exit strategy. With your businesses now, you're a hip-hop artist, you're a mortgage broker. Do you have an exit strategy built into this?
Working on it.
Okay.
Well, with hip-hop, I mean, it's hard to say what an exit strategy is, because, like you said, hip hop's still growing. So, I'm gonna do hip hop as long as I can do hip hop, because I love hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never did it for a check or for any money. I did it because it was part of my culture and something I love to do. You know what I mean? Making money from it is great. It's icing on the cake. That's a plus. Nice. But I'm gonna do it as long as I can, or I'm gonna be a part of it as long as I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I have to end up being on a radio show, just VJing or something. Yo, like,
I'm still in the culture.
I'm gonna be a part of this. Like,
Absolutely.
no matter how you look at it, I'm gonna be a part of this. I mean, I don't know how to use a Serato, but I know how to use two techniques in a mixer,
right?
So I can get crazy, like, you know what I mean. But like I said, I'll be in this one way or the other.
That's interesting. I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to ask you to answer that question for exit strategy.
Okay.
So, it's interesting. My brother, my actual family member, So I recently had a birthday. I became 50, y'all.
Damn. No.
I knew somebody was going to hit me with the Kevin Hart. Look. Yes, but thank you.
My bad, bro.
That's so funny.
I'm only 5 years old.
But 5-0. And one of the interesting things was, so I was DJing at a club here in Tampa Bay. And I'm DJing.
Top Golf?
I used to be the resident DJ every Saturday night at Top Golf. When they first opened here in the Tampa Bay area, those were great parties, by the way. Those were great. But this wasn't that club. This was a regular nightclub. And I'm in the DJ booth. But the booth is like at level. It's not up. So you can see me directly. And a girl says, I'm in the streets, I go by the Blend King DJ I Am. So I'm accustomed to people calling me I Am or DJ I Am. She says, Mr. Jackson!
Oh, shit. Sorry. Wrong setting for that one.
Like, wait a minute.
Your record skipped it on.
All right, wait.
Record
scratch.
scratch.
About my whole government. What did this happen there? So, I'm gonna have to decline you. I'll call you Bragg Brother Julius. Thank you for tuning in. So she calls me by my government and runs. She grabs her friend by the arm. They come running over to the DJ booth. My wife happened to be there that night. And she says, Mrs. Jackson. She says, I was Kyle. My son's name is Kyle. I was Kyle's best friend at high school. We went to Tampa Bay Tech together. It's so good to see you. And I was like, hey, honey, nice to meet you. Lower your voice. And so in my mind, at that moment, I was the old man in the club. Okay? And nobody wants to be the old dude in the club. Okay? So I said, okay, what am I going to do? I can't be the old dude in the club. And then I told my brother this very same story. And he was like, are you crazy? He was like, bro, you one of the nicest DJs I ever heard. He was like, stop. Is Hollywood still DJing? Yes.
Yeah, bro.
He said, is Flex still DJing? Yes. He said, I can name 50 DJs. Clue. All of these dudes still are in your age group. They still out here working. What are you talking about? You're the old man in the club. You come to rock the party, go rock the party. Okay? And so I have not given up on...
50's the new 30 anyway.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Thank you. With all of the great...
I must be 21. I just had you.
But for me, I do know my lane, right? Like I tend to... My era is that 90s hip-hop, early 2000s hip-hop. And I recognize, because we have a young man in the building with us, and I don't necessarily play what that generation listens to. I like Meg Thee Stallion, I like Cardi B, but that's not regularly in rotation on my turn.
Right.
Okay, and so, but salute to those DJs that are. We need new up and coming DJs. We need young people being creative. We need young people who are putting this kind of conversation into their music. And so, I only bring that up to say, my exit strategy is, I would like to work until I can't anymore, or until I'm so rich it's just silly to work. Like, it's not, but the things that I do for work, I sell real estate. I love selling real estate. I love DJing. So when I'm out working, it never really feels like, oh, God. It's not a grind for me. It's a joy for me. Right? And I make pretty good money doing both. And so, how about you?
I'm similar to you. I just made the transition not too long ago from being a teacher. So my extra strategy, I have to kind of look at a little bit closer, because the way I'm exiting is going to be a little bit different. But
Guns blazing.
right. But I love this.
Yes.
And like you, this doesn't feel like a grind. Work's not work if you enjoy what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Another question for y'all: Is it different tests to become
I'm so glad you
That
asked
is
that.
a good
That's a
test.
great
realtor and a
mortgage loan officer?
Mortgage loan officer.
Right.
and a
Okay.
realtor, and that is there are exams that you have to take. We are licensed by the state. I'm glad you asked that question. Great segue, because this is important. There are lots of realtors in the world, but I will tell you, 85% of realtors quit within the first 3 years. It's a hard grind for a lot of people. It has been good for me because I had an experience before when I was on the mortgage side, and because of music. There are platforms available to me like this. This helps me, right?
Yeah,
if you are watching or if you are listening, I fully want your business. I want you to refer me to your friends. I want to be your realtor.
Right.
Most realtors don't have a show called Homeownership and Hip Hop either, right? Where people can look, and because of that, my hip hop experience, this opened the door for this, okay? But I would say, before you jump in, because people go on HGTV and they think, oh, I'm gonna sell $1 million house and get a $300,000 check, and it's gonna be wonderful. I'm gonna just show three. It ain't like that. Number one, it doesn't work like that. And two, I will tell you that the test is wild hard. The exam is you got to take a class. Then after the class, it's two
Yes, I
separate
got my own,
licenses,
right.
You can't do both, or you could do both, but it would get two different
Right, just
licenses, right? And it gets a little fuzzy. So I stick on the realtor side and trust my.
I got the mortgages.
That's right.
Yep.
And once you get your license, so one of the things I'm proud to say is that I passed all of my exams, because there are 3 before you can even start doing anything. I passed all of them the first time. I will tell you that I know several people. So you take a class to get your realtor's exam. You have to take a test at the end of that class before you can take a state exam. I know people who have failed that class 3, 4, 5 times. Once you got out that class and you go take the state exam is like 103 questions, and it is wildly hard. If I hadn't been to law school, by the way, I went to Stetson Law School. If I hadn't been, I don't think that I would have been able to pass the first time out.
Because of the way you obtain the knowledge.
Preparation.
Well, preparation. I studied. I listened to CDs in my car every day. I was ready, and even it took me until the buzzer went off, and I was like, I had just answered the last question and nearly cried when she passed me the paper that said pass, because I was stressed. It was like that kind of test, right? You pass that, then you got another test. You finally got a license, but then you got to do a post-licensing exam. Or if you don't pass that within a year, they just take your license like you never had one.
Oh, shit.
So now you have to do post-licensing and then continuing education. And so when you talk about, a lot of times people be like, man, they make a lot of money. Yeah, they earn that. Them people have a specialized knowledge that they are helping you with. And my goal is to give my customers an exceptional experience. I want them to walk away like, that was fun and that was easy. Those are the 2 words I want to hear, right? And it's not just me. Like you talked about earlier about having a team. I have a team of people around me. It's my mortgage loan officer. I have title people. I have transaction coordinators.
Right.
I have all kinds of people that are involved to make sure you as the customer feel like, dang, that was easy. I paid them all that money. You don't know, behind the scenes, it's going crazy back here. Right?
We're like, it's all good. It's all good.
No, you did right. You stay smart. No, I got this. Yeah. But really,
Right, we're like, oh,
pulling
my
your
goodness.
Did you call? What's going on?
Right.
So with that said, I think that it's a good business if you want to get in it, particularly if you're a young person who don't want to go to college. You heard that? Now, I said it was hard, so you're going to have to study, especially if you're not like a school person. You're going to have to really study to get it. But if you put the work in, I believe that it's one of the few careers that you can actually earn 6 figures on pretty consistently. And you can become a millionaire with this kind of business. In fact, on one of my subsequent upcoming shows, by the way, I'll be on air every Saturday here on Ohio Radio and Spreaker every Saturday starting at 1 p.m. Make sure you tune in. But this young man, 26 years old, he's a millionaire. How'd he do it? Real estate. Never went to college, went and got his real estate license. He was still living at home with his parents. He was still at home. So for young people, this is a jewel. Let me just give this to you. He was living at home with the parents, so you don't have no rent. You don't have no. Basically, you got your cell phone and maybe a little car. Okay. He went and got his real estate license, closed 2 big deals right off the gate. And he just happened to live in an area. He's from California, so most properties in California are $1 million. Okay, but you can do this in Miami where there are a lot of $1 million properties, or you can do this here in Tampa.
About to go up.
Prices done went up, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Right. It's a fact.
So,
Like the New Tampa area?
No,
New Tampa, all over
anywhere.
Tampa. Everywhere in Tampa Bay.
Everywhere that surrounds Tampa Bay.
All the way out to Lakewood.
Yes.
Right.
All
Prices
the way,
are
everything. Prices is up. Bro, go to Ruskin right now.
Yep.
That's
I
right.
expected Ruskin.
These used to be farms.
And
Ruskin used to be nothing.
Ruskin's probably like the cheapest
out for right now.
Right
But
now.
as that goes up,
Right.
it's
Check it
steadily
back in
going
5
up.
years.
Going up.
That's right.
Yep,
Right.
Yep. I might.
And
You
so,
probably shouldn't do it.
so here's the interesting thing, right? My interest, wait, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about prices going up.
Right.
And before that, what were we talking about?
You was giving a jewel to the youth.
Oh, yes,
thank you,
yes.
brother. Thank you. So for the youth,
Kids.
we were talking about how the young man made his money $1 million by 26. So he was staying at home. So every time he would sell a house, he would just stack that bread, spend none of it. He didn't spend none of that money. Then he took that money. He closed maybe 10 houses, took all of that money and started buying himself. So he bought his first house he bought was a regular standard single family house. Another single family right after that, and then a triplex, which has 3 units that he was getting rent on. So right off the rip, he got 5 houses. Okay, he did that again over the course of the next 2 years. So now he got 10 houses. The reason he did the 10 houses and pooled all his money, he has no bills, but this is going to be his steady income, because when you are in sales and real estate, we get paid on commission. It's 100% commission. So if you don't sell a house, you don't eat. You don't pay your bills. So he wanted to make sure he had steady income coming in. So he bought the houses, rents coming in every month from 10 units.
And he's still doing what he's doing.
And he's still selling real estate, and all of them checks are still coming in. Caking up. Okay? And so why do I say that is a jewel for young people? A lot of times people squander their 20s. They want to be out at the club. They want to be out drinking and smoking and chilling, and they're not thinking about money. And that is actually the best time, really, in that late teens, that 18 through 25, man, because your parents are covering you for almost everything. You got no bills. You don't often. Many people don't have children yet, right, and other responsibilities, and so you just got money coming in hand over fist. Maybe instead of running to the Gucci store. I'm not saying Gucci, there's nothing wrong with Gucci, nothing wrong with Prada, nothing wrong with Louis Vuitton, all of those are wonderful. But maybe instead of giving them your wealth, go ahead and chill, and don't get a fly car, get you some assets that generate money for you, and then you will have more than enough money to buy as much Gucci as you choose. As much, you can go on as many trips, you can go where you want to. Because there's a steady income coming in, and you have a tangible asset, so that if things go awry, guess how you fix that thing? I'm going to sell one of these 10 houses, get a lump sum of cash, clear this up, and I'm back rolling. It's easy now. But if nobody ever told you, welcome to the Homeownership and Hip Hop show. If nobody ever told you, you don't know. So that's why we're here. We're for the culture on Flow Ohio Radio. One time, can we get a clap for that?
Let's go.
Okay? Preach. So, clap it up. Okay, so, I know that we have run a little longer because I can't eat your whole Saturday, but last 10 minutes are very important. He's going to run a commercial break, and then you guys are going to tell our audience once again where to find you on social media, where they can call, how they can apply for that mortgage today, how we can get these folks rolling. So, Serge, would you run that commercial for us?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Is more than just a place you eat and sleep. Memories are created that will last a lifetime. Milestones and achievements that you'll cherish forever. And as families grow or you move up in life, it's time for your home to grow with you. A new home to create even more memories.
Every home has memories. Every home is a chapter in someone's life. My name is Kyle Jackson. I am a realtor with Savin Premier Real Estate. I would love to help you go from the current chapter to the next chapter of your life. Call me anytime.
When it comes to selling your current home and buying your next, Kyle Jackson's got your back.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for sticking with us. For those who are on Facebook Live, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful, thankful, and happy that you're here. For those who will tune in and hear and see this after, thank you for finding us and for telling a friend. That's very important. I am actually going to go last, and I'm going to start with our first guest, Farlene, who will tell you where you can find her and how you can apply with Bliss Mortgage.
All right. Thanks again so much for having me on here, Kyle. The one thing about having a unique name, Farlene, it's Farlene. I'm not too hard to find. So Farlene Flack. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, Fun with Farlene. I have an Instagram. Any of those. TikTok, I'm on there too. I'm working on those. But if you want to apply with me right now, go to www.blissmortgage.com. We have lots of good information and resources on there, and you can start a pre-approval right then and there, and I'm ready to take it this weekend.
Absolutely. What's the best telephone number for them to reach?
You can call me directly at 813-841-9951. All right, feel free to text too if you prefer that.
One more time, 813?
813-841-9951.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Farlene Flack. Serge, give her a big round of applause. Thank you. And, of course, our guest, Larcen.
What's good? What's good? You can find me on Instagram at I am Larcen, Twitter at _Larcen_, and I am Larcen at every other social media platform there is. I'm not giving y'all my phone number, but if y'all want to collab with me or make some money with me, DM me. I'll answer.
Fantastic. Do either of you have any merchandise that you can purchase?
You can purchase my son's art right here.
Perfect.
My son is _art_man on Instagram. There's another piece over there. That's not for sale, but the other one is. And there's plenty more art for sale. He's also a tattoo artist. So, please book. Check him out.
Fantastic.
Look, book. You know what I'm saying? Get him on a hook. Or put me on a hook. Let's get this money.
Let's get it. Okay. And last but certainly not least, my name is Kyle Jackson. I'm a realtor with Savin Premier Real Estate. And I'm going to look directly at the camera. First and foremost, tell you thank you again. Each and every Saturday from starting at 1 p.m., you can find me right here on Flowhio Radio. And the name of the show, once again, to tell your friends and family about is Homeownership and Hip Hop. You can also contact me if you do hashtags. Hashtag is the easiest way to find me on everything. On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Hashtag Kyle Sells Dream Homes. Kyle is spelled Kyle. Kyle Sells Dream Homes. Kyle Sells Tampa Bay. Kyle Sells Florida. Savin Premier Real Estate is the name of the brokerage. You can also contact me at KyleSellsTampaBay.com, KyleSellsDreamHomes.com, 813-444-2691. Why am I giving you that number? I would love to help you. I am primarily a listing agent. And so primarily I help people who own a home to sell their home and to buy another. However, I do also help first-time home buyers with my friend Farlene from Bliss Mortgage. And so if you are thinking about renting, investing, buying, those are things that I can help you with too. Now, I know a lot of people, they may have said, renting? You want to help us with renting? A lot of people do rent houses and then go into what's called a not for sale by owner, but a rent-to-own situation, okay? I work with a company called Divvy to help people do a rent-to-own. I also am connected with American Home Partners of America. And so those are resources that we can use in order to, if you're not quite ready to buy, you can start off in a rental situation and get you into a buying situation. If you're an investor and you're looking for a realtor to help you to divest of your properties and sell those, please do contact me. If you're a buyer, you want to invest in property, please call me for that as well. And we will work with Farlene to help you with your investment goals. And most importantly, because I know the overwhelming majority are probably people who are not homeowners. You can own a house. If you consider yourself part of the hip hop community, I am talking to you. You can own a home. You can own a home. And you can own a very nice home. Or you can own a starter home. Remember, there's nothing wrong with starting off as a seed and growing. Buy that first home, sell it, get your money out, reinvest, get it bigger. Keep going, right? This is a progression. And so over the next several weeks, we'll be here each and every Saturday giving you more and more information about how to create wealth for yourself, generational wealth for your family. And as a first show, I just want to say thank you, Serge. Thank you.
That's dope.
This was a wonderful opportunity.
I like this.
I want to thank both of my guests, Farlene and for Larcen,
Thank you for
joining
having
us.
me. Thank you for
and
having me.
for Alfie joining us on the check-in.
Shout out to Alfie for pulling up.
Right? And for my young brother right here.
Shout out to my son Justice for
Justice
pulling
for pulling
up.
up. And everybody who was a part of this today, all of our folks that tuned in, please, you know what to do. Share this. It don't mean nothing if only me and you saw it, right? So please do press the share button. Please do share. Hit the like button.
Tell a friend.
And tell a friend, right?
A friend will tell a friend.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell another friend after that friend. And tell your cousin. And so, and we will be back again next Saturday.
Mama, sister, and cousin, and
starting
all
at
that.
1 o'clock. Home ownership and hip hop. We love and appreciate y'all. Peace.
Gangster.